right, driverless car in China. So what does that mean? Well, the company Baidu is partnering with the state-owned automaker BAIC Group, and they plan to build about 1,000 driverless autonomous vehicles over the next 3 to 5 years. The software they're using for this, get this, it's called Apollo, and the cars are called the Apollo Moons. So I will tell you that that seems to me like a direct shot at the U.S. because we did the Apollo missions and we went to the moon. So
That was
it's
dirty.
just so it definitely looks like could be a shot like that. And it's interesting because right now America is focusing heavily on cleaner energy, and so China's not necessarily caring as much. They have like a 30-year plan where they expect to peak their actual output of carbon by 2030. That's their plan as they ramp up production. They're like, schedule, we'll max it out at this rate, then we'll work our way down by 2050 to zero emissions, something like that. Have a plan for production. We have to, we have to basically prioritize our country production and growth before we worry about the environment. They've already said that. The state says no, we're doing this now, but we see in America we have lots of regulations that are regulatory hurdles to get through to actually get to a robo taxi kind of society. And China doesn't have to deal necessarily with the same problems. The Chinese government doesn't have to worry about those same regulatory hurdles, justifying budgets to its voters, getting reelected every 4 years. You know what I mean? It could just kind of do the projects that it wants to do. So I could see this as China trying to kind of find a niche in the market and being able to push it and say, we'll become the leader in that field and get that out. The production date is still clear. And it's expected to have a project expected to have a 5-year operating cycle. So we'll see how this plays out. But the plan is to commercialize the road taxi service across all of China. And as I said before, right, they're not subject to the same regulatory hurdle. It's definitely more possible that they can move a lot faster and could probably try and get themselves into a first market mover position to have like a fully nationwide or mostly nationwide program for this, which would put them in a competitive advantage in that field. And one of the other things that their mass production and technology advance has allowed them to be able to make these cars and sell them at about roughly 480,000 yuan, which is roughly 75K, as opposed to the average, which is roughly 1 million yuan, 150K. So they've made some advances in their production lines and the technology used for these things. So they're actually able to get that price point down to make these cars more affordable as well. So it's definitely very, very, very interesting. And some of the competitors right now, though, that are working is also Didi, Didi, right? They're headed for an IPO in the US. WeRide and Pony.ai are three other companies that are technically their direct competitors at this time, working on autonomous vehicles as well. But definitely big news coming out of China there. Something to look at for the EV market and the autonomous vehicle market.
I mean, this is going to be huge. If they beat the U.S., which I feel the U.S. has been kind of leading with Tesla at the reins, I'll just throw that
Well,
out
I
there.
just I think they might get to a point where they have autonomous vehicles commercialized for the whole country. Like it's like on the road. You know what I mean? Like not just that they're being made,
Uh,
because yes, a bunch of companies in America have them. I think that this might be them gunning for like we'll get it to be the standard before
a
you do. Because
universal
right,
transportation. I
like that'll
wonder if
just
they get
become
rid of
part of the
buses.
Chinese every
Yeah.
day.
Huh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That
So
sounds
that's what I
amazing.
think. That's what I think that the target is here.
Wow.
That sounds awesome. China's saying we're going to be first.
Big,
Looks like it.
We'll see
There you
if
go.
that happens.
moves.
Those are big
Okay.
All right.
allegations right there.
And with that, we're going to take a short little break.